Hi everyone, thanks for stopping by my channel. I'm recording Rissa and today I'm going to do a makeup tutorial. This is just a little bit of makeup that I put on, so I'll explain how I did this makeup and then when I do my actual makeup I'll give a full tutorial. But most of this video is going to be dedicated to me baking some chocolate chip muffins, super easy, like easy steps, and they are gonna be pretty tasty, I hope. So here goes nothing. If you like this video and you like the content, please give me a thumbs up, please watch, please rate everything. I really appreciate every view. All right, thank you. Let's get started. And while I do this, I'll tell you the story of how I met my best friend and the person I live with. And I'll probably gloss over some details because a lot of this stuff doesn't really matter. But yeah, I'll do a little story time while I make this cake. All right, everyone, so I am using box mix. And I know this is controversial, but I don't really care because we don't have time. Actually, we do have the time, but I'm a little lazy and I don't know how.
And we are running up against the clock.
We are, yeah, because we are baking a chicken as well with potatoes. So I gotta do this before the chicken so it doesn't smell like chicken, if you know what I mean. Okay, so I'm using this Duncan Hines Classic White Perfect Moist. All right, and let me move the camera back a little bit so you can see me a little better. Hey, that's a little better. Okay, and I'm gonna dump it in here and tell you the story of me and my partner and just how we kind of came to be. Also, funny enough, you'll see my partner in the background cooking, so that'll be a little fun treat for you guys. But basically, we're gonna start with getting all the ingredients we need. It says 1 cup of water, 3 large eggs, and half a cup of vegetable oil. I don't know about the vegetable oil, so I'm gonna use this Land O'Lakes butter. Sorry, he has to pass by. And then, let's see. I think for the water, that'll be fine. And 3 large eggs. I have brown eggs. It says white eggs, but I prefer brown eggs. So that's what I will be using. Okay. So a long time ago, I think you're supposed to mix all the dry ingredients by themselves and then put the wet ingredients in. So I'm gonna do the opposite. I'm gonna put all the wet ingredients together and then put the dry in, just because that'll be the easiest way to make sure they don't get mixed before they're supposed to. But yeah, long ago on this thing called the internet, you know, we were using it and we happened to find each other, and we were both like in the same kind of like university area and stuff, so that's why we kind of was able to be in the same geography even, because if we were in different states this would make no sense. I mean, it would make sense because people on the internet meet each other from different states all the time, but not me. So yeah, here are the eggs, and this is why I like large brown eggs. These are organic, they're just juicy, they come with a very yellow yolk. I love that. Oh, that's the oven. It's done preheating. Okay, so let me hurry up and take this butter out. I put the butter in the microwave so it would melt into oil super quick, and it has. So if I had left it in there any longer, it probably would have been a bad idea. Okay, now I'm gonna grab a cup for water, but really I'm gonna use a bowl because a cup is about the same as like half a bowl. So this is gonna cool the butter down as well. I think this is just enough water. I don't want my batter to be too watery. All right. Okay, so next I'm cracking my eggs. Eggs have to get in here. Oop, splish splash. I'm doing 3 eggs. And if you're worried about your cholesterol, you can always just do the egg whites, because I know that the yellows, the yolk, is what contains the most cholesterol. But here goes me cracking. Oh, I can't do it on here. All right, let me turn the camera down so you guys can see me do it. Okay. jeez. This is a mess. Sorry. And then I like to add a little milk to my batter, so I'm gonna be adding Planet oat milk and just pouring a teensy tiny amount in. So basically what you just saw happen, sorry, was me cracking an egg super hard and it's spilling all over the place. But I got super lucky and none of it got in the batter, thank God. All right, now it's time to mix. So I'm just gonna do this up close for y'all. Nice and close. And so basically, we started talking, me and my partner, and we had a good conversation. We were like, oh my God, blah, 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 blah. He was telling me that he was from South Dakota. I thought that was so cool. But I don't know anyone from South Dakota. And he was like, that's unusual for you to think that's cool. And I was like, well, it's very cool. So, and eventually he took me to South Dakota and I realized how right I was. It is very cool.
Yeah, right.
No, it is a very cool place. Beautiful nature. It is definitely a particular place politically, but gorgeous. Definitely gorgeous. Okay, sorry, my camera is just being so wonky. You guys are gonna get a full tour of my apartment, because what? You're just seeing everything. All right, perfect. Now you can see my face. All right, so I'm gonna keep mixing. And so yeah, basically, we were chatting, and like, you know when conversation comes easy, that's a good sign usually. But it was just supernatural supernatural. But it was very natural. And we had made all these plans, dudes. Like, we were like, we're gonna go to the art museum, we're gonna get lunch. And then we met up for the first time, and it was a super rainy day. And the place that we were gonna get breakfast at had like a no wait list policy, so we could not really get in, and we weren't really willing to sit in the rain because it was already so full, you know. All right, now I'm adding the cake mix, and before I add the cake mix, I'm just gonna put a little bit of nutmeg and cinnamon in it, just because I'm making chocolate chips with this, so I feel like chocolate chips go really good with nutmeg and cinnamon. But let's see if I can even get this bag to open without making a horrid mess. No, I can't. So I'm gonna use my teeth. Okay. Kind of worked. A little bit. That's enough for me. That was good. Yeah, my partner's telling me we have scissors, so. Could have used those, but I didn't. All right, let me go add this nutmeg and the spices, and I'll come back and dump it in the bowl. All right, so I've got this. I'm not gonna do nutmeg actually, I changed my mind. I'm only gonna do cinnamon, and I'm gonna throw the cinnamon into the bag so all the dry powders can mix before I put them into the wet mix. So this is just me dumping as much cinnamon as I can into this mix, because I love a good cinnamon chocolate chip. Okay, and then I'm gonna try, oh God, I got the cinnamon all over my hand. And I'm gonna dump it out into the bowl. Ooh-wee, that's a lot of flour. Yeah. No, we don't have any other bowls, so this has got to work. And then I'm gonna add some more cinnamon on top. And cinnamon is good luck, so I love putting cinnamon on things because it symbolizes like prosperity and wealth. Okay. So, I don't know if you can see it, but that's the big old bowl. And so I think we went to like a couple places at first in the neighborhood that we were in, and we walked around, and we were just like, And then eventually we found a cute little place. We didn't realize it was BYOB, but a lot of places in Baltimore like that, which is really cool. At least in like the Italian communities, you'll see like a BYOB place. But even outside of that, this one was in Little Italy, but it wasn't like an Italian restaurant, and it was still BYOB. So we had a nice little date where we got brunch, and it was super cute. Chase had gotten like yolk all over him, and he was so embarrassed by it, but like I was so enamored by his like everything that I didn't even, I mean, I registered it, but it was like another cute thing. You know what I mean? Where it was like, oh my God, he's so cute. He got a yoke on himself, like, and he's making such a big deal out of it. It's so cute. So that's how that went. And so we sat there and chatted for a while, and it was so funny because I was like, oh yeah, one of my favorite authors is Mark Twain, and he hates Mark Twain. So
he hated a lot more at the time. I think I've softened on it.
yeah, he's softened on his stance, but still is not the biggest Mark Twain fan. Because there are other more relevant, like, literary authors to be a big fan of than Mark Twain.
Well, and it's just the like using of the N word for a character name.
Yeah.
An entire one of his like central works in his
Career.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jim's name, the epitaph put on Jim.
Yeah. Jim is a great character though, which is why I like the book. Because it really does speak. I feel like it's done in the sense of like, not irony, but to emphasize how silly it is to be racially discriminatory against people who are, in Mark Twain's eyes anyways, morally superior than the people who are being the oppressors.
Yeah.
But yeah, so all that's to say, you can see the kind of discussions we had on that date. Because, yeah, it was a good date, though. So then, we were feeling it. We were just having a good time chatting, and I don't think either of us was ready for the day to end. And as you can see, I'm really mixing this up. I'm trying to get all the lumps out. I didn't think I was going to be able to do it in such a small bowl. We do have a whisk, but I feel like whisks are harder to clean after.
It's fine, but they're easier to get the clumps out.
True.
and stuff,
Okay. Well, I'm gonna let this sit as well for a hot second, and then I'm gonna grease up this baking tin so that when we bake it, things won't be stuck on the bottom, and I can get the cupcakes out nice and easy. Okay, the other thing is I put the chocolate chips in the freezer so they wouldn't melt so quickly. So that's one of the pro hacks I have for you if you're making something with chocolate chips. Just make sure you throw them in the freezer before you get ready to bake with them, because otherwise they'll get super gooey. So I have a unique technique for greasing. I take a clean paper towel and then I just rub it through all of the fucking, the freaking holes. Sorry, I don't mean to curse on my YouTube. It's just like there's a lot of holes. There's 12 of them, and you want to get really deep in there with the butter or the whatever you use as your oil, your fat substitute. You want to get in there, wipe the whole thing down with it because you don't want anything sticking. And these cupcakes are going to get really big, so you want them to be able to lift out. Okay, and so the batter has been sitting. The pan is greased. It's time to put these cupcakes in the oven. So, all right, so these are the final products. All right, and now it's time to put them into the oven. All right, so you can take a look at them. We're gonna bake them for about 15 to 20 minutes. Let me put something on the timer. 20 minutes, please. And I'll take them out when they're all done. But one thing I will say is that studios are expensive, especially if you want to live in one of those like new builds, All right, so I love to use this frosty blue in my eyes after I put the white on, just to make sure it lasts all day. So, frosty blue it up. Boop, boop. Ouch, I got some in my eye, I think. And then a little more. And it's nice to have a base to like follow along and put it on. And then I put a little on my nose as highlight. And that's pretty much my whole makeup routine. For concealer, I use this. And so basically, anyways, it was getting pretty expensive living alone. And I was just like, the thought like hit me because my mom had actually been like, what? You're gonna live together or something? You spend so much time, blah, blah, blah. And the thought it hit me where it's just like, well, it would save me so much money and we spent so much time traveling back and forth, and I already like don't really love my apartment situation. Why not try to find an apartment with somebody I really like and in a place that I really like, and then it'll be okay. And so this person from the internet that I met soon became my best friend. And once I proposed this idea to him, he was like, sure, why not? Which is so sweet, because a lot of people, if you propose an idea like that, they'd be like, are you insane? Please leave me alone. Don't ever talk to me again. But he was with it, which was really nice and really cool. Just like a cool thing to like certain, like, okay, we're both on the same page. Like, we both like feel like we could cohabitate and not kill each other, which is super important. And then we started the apartment searching process, and we looked at apartments out of our budget, at apartments in our budget, and then we found this gorgeous spot that was just like art deco, not art deco, but like warehouse style, like, you know, just our vibe together. And we locked it in. So this person was super nice, and we decided to move in together, split the rent. And long story short, it has been 2.5 years and we are still living together. We actually just re-signed our lease, and we didn't want to because we wanted to be living somewhere else by now. But we decided that we still like, no matter what, we want to live together. So yeah, we'll see how things play out in the future, but so far so good. I have no complaints. We're the same level of messy, so that's really nice. And then we also like to watch TV a lot. We like to basically just chill out, so that's kind of our vibe. Let's go check on these cupcakes. So the cupcakes are ready. The oven just went off. I'm gonna take you around to see right there. I'm excited. I'm hungry.